And then we will go into presentation mode. Here we go. So this is the Quintana Roo educational excursion that we're doing at the end of this year in December. We will meet in Tulum, and we will also have the option to travel to Bacalar. So welcome to the presentation. I'm very excited about this. I've put together an amazing program. A little bit of an overview here. This is a 2-week immersion, about 2 weeks through Tulum and Laguna Bacalar, like I said. It's a very heart-led family journey, so we're bringing some ceremony into this as well, cacao ceremony, yoga, breath work, primarily for the adults, although yoga and cacao are also children-friendly. And then we're spending a lot of time in nature. And this is really for children who are 8 and older to fully participate in all of the activities. You can come with younger children. You need to be present with them and able to supervise them. We will have one other person there helping to supervise the children, in addition to my husband and myself. And like I said earlier, Mena, our wonderful Mayan cosmovision guide, will be with us. So we will have quite a team. It's going to be quite a beautiful team, and you'll meet more. You'll see us later as a team. There's a page for that. And I mentioned here to come to Cancun Airport, but there's also Tulum Airport, and I just want to plug in really quickly that I looked up the fares and the flights from to Mexico City to Tulum, which Mexico City has flights to most major international airports, and it's a quick flight from from um, from Mexico City to Tulum, and it was only priced at $125 per person round trip right now. So that would cut back your transport time from airport to the accommodations in Tulum by 2 hours. So I highly recommend that if you can pull that off. And yeah, just makes everything way less complicated. So everything is included in this experience. So once you get to the accommodations, all of your transportation is included, your accommodations, all of the shared meals, and I believe there are 2 meals that are planned outside. A lunch and a dinner are each planned outside of our accommodations in Tulum. Those are shared as well. So those are included as well, is what I mean. So that and all the activities. There are a few meals that you would want to cover yourself, but that's mostly when we're out and about, and yeah, then you have freedom of choice. So let's see here. Let's look at our next page. So the vision and the mission of this. So this is not just some sort of not thought out trip. This is a highly curated experience. It does mix adventure and a little bit of tourism in with education. And I think that that's a really fabulous way of experiencing Quintana Roo, which is on the Caribbean of Mexico. If you haven't been there before, it's turquoise water, beaches, jungles, and there's a lot to the commercial side. There's also a lot of beautiful community and history that is not necessarily easy to access or to find just if you go online, right? So, but the heart of this journey really is to bring children into direct relationship with nature, specifically the waterways. We're doing multiple snorkeling days, one in the sea and one in the laguna. And we will be staying in an ecological community that has these ecologically built style accommodations, shaulas, etc. And it also has a private cenote lagoon. So we have kind of a big private swimming hole that's really beautiful and crystal clear and surrounded by jungle and ecological community. In addition to just snorkeling, we'll also have a real life laboratory. We're bringing in a microbiologist who has experience working with children to help the kids and the adults, if you choose, to learn about the stromatolites, which are these ancient colonies of microorganisms under the water. They're some of the oldest living beings on planet Earth, and they hold a lot of the secrets to our evolution, the evolution of life on Earth, and it's really exciting. I don't have that facilitator on the call today, but she's been doing this for many years. She lived in Bacalar for several years studying the ecosystem there and has a lot of knowledge to share in a very fun way. So I'm really looking forward to this. And these micro organisms, these colonies of microorganisms, the colonies themselves are humongous. They're huge. And they're plentiful. There are many. So we'll be studying these phenomena, these ancient phenomena in real life with her specialized microscopes and her guidance, which is very exciting. Mena, who's here with us, will be working on the Mayan cosmovision workshop for children, so they get to learn creatively about the meanings behind the kins and all the symbolism of the Maya that's related like to the Mayan calendar, etc. And they'll be doing so through art and through embodied activity as well. And this way they learn about the culture, but it's also something that they can take home with them, and it's done in an embodied way so that it really can stay with them for a lifetime. So like I said earlier, we're also facilitating some ceremonial experiences, and these are family group experiences, so really meant to strengthen family connection. Plenty of shared meals. We'll have a temescal. We're doing kind of a beach arts and crafts, yoga and brunch day as well. And this is really not only to bring in ecological awareness, which is a huge part of this, and it is a huge factor in who is going to decide to join us. The kids with the interest in learning about nature, about the waterways, etc., are going to be really, really excited about this. But it's also about bringing deeper presence amongst family members, which is something that I think in this really fast-paced world we don't get enough time to invest in. So the timeline a little bit, there's a beautiful picture of Tulum and one of the famous ruins in Tulum. And then on the right, we have the grounds of the ruins in Bacalar, and there are really ancient trees and vines there. I just thought those were some interesting images of interest. So Tulum, the Tulum segment will be from December 3rd to December 11th. And this is where we're staying in this ecological jungle community with the private lagoon. It's in a really lush jungle, rainforest kind of atmosphere. And it's got this deeply calming, natural energy to it that I just find is wonderful. I've held multiple retreats there already, and I know the owner and I know what he is doing in that property, and I really have a deep appreciation for it. That's where we'll be doing some yoga, some breath work, some cacao ceremony, things like that. They have multiple yoga shalas as well. So this is a beautiful opportunity for families to also get some holistic wellness in just before the holidays, which could be really beneficial. And then we go to Bacalar from the 11th of December until the 19th. So you see here, it's early to mid-December, just before the holidays begin for a lot of people. And then we close out from Bacalar. And in Bacalar is where we have the living laboratory. So this is where we're doing some snorkeling in a larger lagoon, a big lagoon, and multiple for that matter. And then collecting samples, water samples, and stromatolite samples, studying them under microscopes. And we'll be staying in some beautiful waterfront accommodations. These are not so much it's not a community per se, it's a home, it's a private home, and we will be co-living for that time. So that is what I have set up for this part of the trip. And of course, the house itself will be dependent on how many people we have sign up. I may have to rent 2 houses if one is not enough, but it really depends on how many signups we have. I already have 1 reserved. So here's the team. That's myself. That's actually in front of that private lagoon in the community that I was speaking about in Tulum. I'm originally from the USA, and I've been living in Mexico for 4 years. I'm the co-founder with my husband Oscar of of Worldschool Mexico. And he's a guide for much of the activity that we do. He's also a teacher on the team here in San Miguel, and he's born and raised in Mexico. Mena, who is here, she's present with us on this call. She's not only an author and a Mayan cosmovision expert, but she has many skills and tools as a healer and as a visionary, and also born and raised in Mexico. I was fortunate enough to meet her when I moved here to San Miguel de Allende about 4 years ago. Pau, who is not on the call, will be doing some breathwork instruction, and she'll be an assistant to help with the children, with logistics, things like that. But she'll mostly just be a beautiful presence to have with us as an assistant. And she's from Mexico. She's also lived in New Zealand. So everyone on the team is bilingual, by the way. So this whole team here speaks both English and Spanish, maybe other languages, I'm not sure. And then we have Mercury, who's the microbiologist and the master diver. She's also originally from the US and spent multiple years in Mexico. She's not on the call right now, but she's very excited to be welcoming the families and ourselves to Bacalar. She's also working on a book right now about the ecology of the lagoons there. And this project is going to help fund some printing of the books that she's working on so she can give them to free to the locals of Bacalar. So they, as the next generation, can educate themselves on how to best care for the waterways there. It's very important to preserve the waterways. We've seen a lot of sort of destructive development practices across the Caribbean coast, and she's really putting a lot of energy and effort into trying to secure a healthy and vibrant future for the lagoons and waterways of Bacalar and their surrounding areas. Here's a little look into the accommodations in Tulum. It's called Porta l'Echelle, and it really is an exceptional community. It's nestled in the jungle, and it doesn't advertise itself anywhere online. So you have to know them to be able to book them, or at least know somebody who knows them. And I met Karine, the owner, at a sustainability conference in Tulum, also about 4 years ago. So I have been bringing groups to this space over the course of the last 4 years. The cabins are kind of a yurt style, but they're quite luxurious. The bedding is very comfortable. There are multiple beds in each space. Some of them have running hot water, and we're of course going to try to secure those. The other ones have just regular kind of natural temperature water. We'll be in the humid, sticky jungle. I don't think it's going to be a problem either way, but if you have a strong preference, please let me know so that I can look into that. We'll have a communal kitchen there. It's a very big kind of open air kitchen. Of course, it's all screened in, but it's got the fresh air breezing through it, and it's quite large with an extensive dining space as well. I think it can probably hold around 50 people or 60 people in there alone. And they will be providing vegetarian meals for us. So that will be all breakfasts and some lunches and dinners. Like I said, there will be a few that will be out, and then there will be a few that will be on on each individual family to decide for themselves. This is also an important moment to say that before we book you, we will, or after we book you rather, we will be asking if there are any food allergies or requirements, things of that nature within your family unit. So it is a really naturally luxurious space versus being very high end, but the nature it offers is deeply luxurious. It's very lush. So if you like nature, this is a great experience. It's going to be a great opportunity to soak in all the trees, all the waters, all the breezes that you could possibly want. And really it is mesmerizing. You can spend a day just lounging by the lagoon and enjoying it, meditating on the natural beauty and the chirping of the birds, and you're very undisturbed. It's not like a typical kind of beach city resort experience. It's very, very different. Okay, and then we'll be holding ceremonies here as well. So activities in Tulum are going to be diverse. We're going to have a diverse array of activities. So we're not only going to stay in the jungle, we'll also be snorkeling in the sea. There is a program that's a bit of a drive away, but we'll be coordinating the logistics of transportation. There's a program where you can snorkel near a sculpture garden. The sculpture garden itself is above sea, is on ground. And we will be visiting both the sculpture garden and doing the snorkeling. We'll also be checking out the ruins and hiring a guide to give us a great tour of the local Mayan ruins that are there on the Tulum coast overlooking the beach. Those are the ones that were in the video when I opened this presentation. We'll be swimming in the cenote of the of the accommodation space. And like I mentioned earlier, breath work, yoga, cacao ceremony. We might get in some ice baths there if we can organize ourselves, and we'll definitely have a temazcal. So then we'll have some art time on the beach. That'll be good for kids of all ages. So that's an activity in particular that, for example, if you have children under the age of 8, they can participate in easily, and the 8-year-olds as well. And then we'll also have some chef-led meals. So we'll also do a cooking experience with a professional chef. And then on our very last evening, we have a really, really special kind of firelit jungle park experience. So this photo up here is from this experience that I'm speaking of. So we'll go in the nighttime to a jungle water park that lights itself up with fire and ambient lighting, and have quite the adventure and a really nice dinner out to cap off Tulum, to close Tulum. So there will be a lot of ceremony and education, and then we're going to bring in a lot of fun as well. And that combination is really important for me in everything that I do. So I hope you appreciate that too. All right, and so that is a little bit about Tulum. I will go through the list of activities in a more thorough manner at the end of this call, after I can pull up the spreadsheets. That way I can go through them in an itemized fashion. Okay, now let's look at Bacalar. So this is the home I currently have rented for us to stay in Bacalar. This is the private dock there. And so we can jump right off of that into water, which is really nice. And it's quite serene, as you can see. The other side of the banks of the lagoon is quite far away. So I've been here before. The water is like turquoise, crystal clear. There's some photos a little bit later in the presentation that I'll share with you where you get a better look at this. But it is right on the edge of what's called the 7-colored lagoon. This one has 6 bedrooms. Some of them have multiple beds. Some of them have only one larger sized bed. So if you have a bed preference, let me know. So for example, if you're bringing a teenager and you want to have like 2 full beds in your room to share with your teen, please note that when you register with us. And so I really wanted to find something that could offer us great comfort, but also access to nature. And this space also has a jacuzzi or a swimming pool. I forget what it is, but it's quite nice, and it's private. And the indoor and the outdoor spaces are really generous. So we'll have plenty of downtime to spend in here as well, because we're doing a lot of sun and water soaked activities. I think it's important to also give the body rest. So the days here, while they are full, they're not extra full, but they're definitely interesting. And then there's some luxuriating relaxation sprinkled in there. Okay, so the activities in Bacalar. So you might be wondering what this is. You might have an idea of what this is, but this is basically what the kids are going to be studying. They're going to be studying the microorganisms under a microscope with mercury. Because this part of the trip at least, really is about a living laboratory, which is really, really exciting. So these organisms were formed over 3.5 billion years ago. Billion years ago. Yeah. So these are really, really old, and you can understand why it's so, so important to not only learn about them, but learn how to protect them, because they really hold the codes and the keys to so much of the history of life here on planet Earth. So we will be learning a lot about that by someone who has studied them for years and who's very passionate and fun. And we'll also be exploring Mayan history. So we'll go probably to Chachoben, which is a really beautiful grounds of ruins that have been recently uncovered. Now, I was there 2 years ago with my husband, who's in the picture here. It looks like he's yawning, but I think he was laughing. And we did a meditation and a ceremony in front of one of the pyramids there. And we were able to, because there was only one other very small group there at the time. So 2 years ago, these were barely known by the general international public and tourists. And I haven't been there for 2 years, but I'm willing to bet it's increased in interest, but it's not nearly as full as like the Tulum ruins, for example. So this is it's an opportunity also to get to know the sacred spaces that the Mayans built up in a more intimate way. And I think there is something really, really special. I know there's something really special to that because you have this spaciousness around you to feel more, to hear more, and to sense more. And we'll also be learning about the symbolism and the structural components of these ruins in that same setting. So we'll also learn about how the Mayans created booby traps for pirates and conquistadores along their waterways. And we might even have a day where we try to workshop a booby trap imitation experience where the kids try to make small versions of the same traps. So here are just a few sort of key images for the trip. This is in Chachoben. This is in Bacalar. This is the 7-colored lagoon that I referred to earlier. So this will be staying on this lagoon. This is Laguna Azul. We'll be spending some time here as well. There are stromatolites that live in there. This is another one of the activities on the last night of Tulum. It's kind of this underground fun kind of car driving experience. I can tell you guys more about this as well if you're interested in details, but just trust me, it looks really fantastic and I'm excited to experience it together. And then up here in the right corner is Mercury, having worked with children previously in a creative sense, and she'll be bringing that creativity with her and to us on the trip to Bacalar. So as you can see, the laguna is very vast, and it's not just this one waterway. There's more water. There are patches of water out here. There's the Laguna Azul here as well. And Mercury really knows these spaces. I'm not going to say like the back of her hand, but she knows the space as well. Okay, so the packages that we have, here's some package info. So all of these prices are listed in dollars. They are subject to change depending on how the currency conversions go. It depends on when you decide to book and make your deposit. But at the moment, more or less, the packages start here around the high threes, including everything for 2 people. So the 2-person family with full participation, that means both people in the family, so if it's one parent and one child participating, they're both fully participating in everything, that's priced at $3,850. I am offering an early bird price, and that is for until the end of March, until the end of March. Oops, sorry. I'm offering it the package at $3,150. So that's a savings of $700 just for signing up early, so that we can make the bookings ahead of time. So getting the best prices on things, including accommodations. If you sign up early, then you get the benefit of that. So for 3 people, so if you're looking at for the same kind of package where everyone participates, let's say it's 2 parents and 1 kid, or 1 parent and 2 kids, then it goes up to $5,750, but the early price is $1,000 lower. Now, if you want to come and you don't necessarily as the adult want to participate in everything, but you want to maybe pick and choose what you want to do, the packages start here at $34.50 or $28.50 for early bird, plus the cost of your particular activity. So if you say you want to pick 5 out of 10, then you just pay for the cost of those 5 activities. Okay. And you can leave your 8-year-olds with us on some of the excursions and some of the experiences. We will be asking everyone before they sign up to sign a waiver, releasing liability of any accidents and things like that for your children. But if they are 8 and older, there are some activities that it is okay that you're not present. With my husband and the other guide assistant, we will be able to supervise everything. I recommend you come anyways. It's going to be a beautiful experience, but that's up to you. So that's Bacalar. And then this is the same structure for Tulum. So you see that the pricing is very similar. Starts in the high threes in Tulum, and there's an $800 discount for the early bird price. And here is almost 1,000. And etc. Okay, so this is identical actually. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of an understanding of the price. So you can see I've also broken them up into 2 excursions or 2 experiences. Why? Because some people may want to do just one or the other. Some people may want to do both. Okay, so you get to choose. After this call, I'll be sending out an email that has a questionnaire in it, and we'll be asking you fill it out if you're interested in registering for the trip, and I'll be asking for what sort of combination of things that you're most interested in. Then once you fill that out, I'll send you an agreement and a waiver to sign, and then I will send you the email for payment. Okay? All right. One other thing that we're doing, and this is happening this summer, and I want to invite you to this call. If you're interested in visiting Oaxaca, Oaxaca is one of the most culturally intact regions of Mexico. It's an extremely special area. You're warmly invited to join our Worldschool Mexico call. The link to do so is down here. I will send that in the emails as well, the follow-up email, so you can register if you want to. We have very limited spots on this trip, so we have a maximum of 20 people, and we already have 7 confirmed. So if that's something that's interesting for you, then please let me know, and you can do so on the same questionnaire that I'll be sending out. That's just a little bit on the colors of Oaxaca. Now we will have time to go into question and answer here. I'm going to stop screen sharing, and we're going to come back to gallery mode. So do make sure that if you don't want your face on the recording, that you black out or turn off your camera now, because I'm going to stop sharing and bring us back to gallery mode. And I think everyone's little squares, little frames will pop back onto the screen. Okay, here we are. And now is the time for question and answers. So does anybody have any questions? Let's first start with questions for Mena, who is our Mayan cosmovision expert, who's here on the call with us now, just because she needs to pop off once we're done with getting those questions answered. Anybody? Everyone feeling good about that part of the experience?
Yes, I just don't have any questions because if we sign up, we'll just do whatever she says, and I will trust whatever she teaches us.
Wonderful. I think that's a good way to go about it. Yeah. Emma, do you have a question? I see that your mic is unmuted. Oh, I heard a little noise, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you're trying to talk, but we can't hear you if you are. I hear a lot of.
Hey, sorry. Yeah, I'm getting on the train right now. I unmuted by accident, but no, I don't have any questions right now. I'm just taking it all in. But thank you guys. This is great information.
Sure. Good thing. Vivke or Jamie?
No questions for this trip. Just overall, like I don't know if we finishing up about this trip, then just overall questions about what else you're offering in your on-site location without the trips. But yeah, maybe let's finish first if there's any questions on this specific.
I think we're
trip.
clear, at least for the questions for Mena. Mena, I think you're free to go. I think everyone just will trust you because
yes,
you're very trustworthy.
definitely.
To everybody. Hope you
Mena, is there anything that you want to share before we stop?
Well,
before you get off?
it's magic. I'm Mexican. I don't look like a Mexican, but I can tell you that my heart is a lot Mayan. I believe, well, every year since I'm little, every year in my life, I go to the Mayan zone. And so it's magical, it's beautiful. So I think it will be a good trip for you guys to go. So good luck.
Thank you, Mena. Thanks for joining the call. And you and I will be in touch. Yeah. Thank you so much. Sending
Great.
you lots of love.
Big kisses. All the best. See you soon.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so any other questions, generally speaking, about the Quintana Roo experience? Let's start with that, and then we can go into general questions about all of our programs. Anything around Quintana Roo?
I had some questions.
Okay.
I'm parked now. So I was just curious. I'm not sure. I'm actually scheduled a call with you on Friday so I could talk more about some other questions like the other woman mentioned, the other programs to see what might be the best fit. This sounds so amazing. I really want to do it. But my kids are 11, 5, and 2. And so if we were to go, um, I guess what would it look like? If only it's funny, my 5-year-old is the more adventurous one. My 5-year-old would love all these things and he would just fit in with all the older kids and jump in. My 11-year-old daughter would not, like, she's gonna take some, it'll be a good opportunity for her. So my question is like what does that look like for the rest of us? What am I doing with my other kids while she's doing all this stuff?
Okay, so you're saying that the 11-year-old wouldn't do any of it?
Oh, no. I will force her to, but I'm saying she's not as adventurous. I'll take some pushing, but I'm saying my 5-year-old is going to be really excited. He's going to want to participate. So I'm just wondering like what it would look like for me trying to juggle, I guess he'll be 3 by then, but my 5-year-old and 3-year-old, you know what I mean? While we're out and about doing all these things.
Right. Okay. Well, so like I said, some of the days you can send your older kid off and just be with the younger ones. And we're also going to have a team of 3 to 4 extra adults any given day, myself, my husband, and Pao included. Okay. So you have 3 kids, so you'll never need to feel like you're never going to be alone with your 3
Yeah.
kids, and plus there will be other parents on the trip as well. So I think that juggling them, as you use that word, will be a little more easeful. They'll probably make
Yeah.
friends and they'll group up with other people and stuff like that. But if your 5-year-old is the one who wants to do everything, then I will need you to be present for the most part with him. I mean, while we're on the Mayan cosmovision workshops, will very likely just be at Porto-Lichel at the accommodations, for example. And so that is a safe place to let a 5-year-old kind of roam because he'll be in tribe. It'll be like a home base versus like out in public and lots of randos walking around and like who knows what. Their Porto-Lichel is very private and it's very family oriented. The man who owns it lives on site with his family, for example. And then he generally has a pretty big team who also lives on site. So it feels more like family. So that'll be a bit safer and more comfortable for him to roam around without your constant supervision.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't mind watching the kids. Sorry, I don't mind watching them, but I was thinking, or what I was imagining was if we're all together and then only some kids, for example, can, go snorkeling. And then the other kids that are young or too young might just be standing on the side, you know what I mean, like wanting to do it and can't. I guess that's what I was worried about.
Right.
I don't know how common that is. I don't know how many families are traveling with younger kids.
I'm trying to
They have those full face masks where you can also even put the younger kids for snorkeling if it's like they have those full face masks you can put on them. So even the younger ones, we did snorkeling with them when they were young.
Yeah, so maybe I could do something with them on the side. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't know if you can hear him screaming. I have noise cancellation, so I don't know if you can hear him, but my child is screaming in the back seat.
I can hear you.
He's like screaming his head off. So anyway, I was just curious, like I said, just, not wanting to make it a stressful time for myself because I'm like, I want to enjoy it too. And I don't want to be on the sidelines. You know what I mean? Like sending her off. You go do the activities while I hold them back, while my other ones are like wanting to jump in and I'm, be like, no, you can't go. So I just wasn't sure what it looked like.
So the 5-year-old, as long as you're present and you are okay with them snorkeling and stuff like that, can do that. A 3-year-old, I probably would not recommend. It's just a little too young without you like doing it tandem or something like that, right? But not everything is underwater and not everything has a ton of risk related to it either. So I think there will be a mix, but remember, myself, my husband, and also Pao will be there to support with the supervision of children. So it's not just you plus your 3 and you have to like divide and conquer because you can't film, right? You would be coming alone. That's what I understand with your 3 kids.
Probably, I'm not
Yeah.
sure, but most likely. My last question was in that case about the price. If I did go, me and my 3 children, we obviously all need a place to stay, but then 2 of them can't participate in most of the activities. I probably wouldn't participate in everything either. Then I'm not sure, what would be best.
What was the question?
For the price, like as for the price, if I would choose for like an adult and a kid, or if I would just choose the pick and choose option,
I
but
would go with
knowing
the
like
pick and choose option if I were you.
okay,
I would pick that one and then make it so that your 5-year-old is the one who's like doing everything, and then you can ask your
yeah,
11-year-old what they would like to do, and you can decide what makes best for you to do as well.
yeah,
What makes sense for you to do, and then we can go from there. We'd have to kind of itemize everything and get it all sorted out for you, but we could do that on a private call. That would
yeah, okay. And then is that also with accommodations? Is what I was curious. Is like
Mhm.
if my 3-year-old will be with me, but so obviously he needs to, stay with me. Is that include? You know what I mean? Is that still okay with the pick and choose?
Yeah, we would have to just make you a custom package,
Got
because
it.
you're going to
Okay.
have a certain number of beds that you need, a certain number of meals that you need. We have to look at all the
Yeah.
logistics. So those
Got it.
packages are sort of like clean cut packages, whereas you kind of have a different dynamic. So we would just have to
Got
look
it.
at it, but it would still be priced in a fair way,
A
honoring
similar
like
way.
yeah,
Mhm.
there's no reason to make it extra complicated.
Yeah. Okay.
We would need
Sounds
to
good.
sit and chat about that and sort it out for you in
Yeah.
particular. Make sure it makes
Sounds
sense.
good.
Hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Are there any more questions about this trip that I can answer? No? No. Okay. So I'm just going to quickly read off the activities for this trip. I have them in a list here, and that makes it much easier. So we'll be starting with a arrival, and then like an opening dinner, opening circle. And then we'll have mixed in there the ruins plus the lunch outing together. On days 2 and 3, we'll have the Mayan cosmovision workshops with Mena. And then on quite a few days we'll have breathwork sessions for the adults. And then sort of midway through the Tulum experience, we'll have the cooking class, along with an outing for ecstatic dance, yoga, kids crafts, and brunch on the beach, which should be really fun. And towards the end there is when we do the snorkeling and the sculpture garden, and that's another lunch outing that's included in the price. And then we're on the very last day. We have the cacao ceremony for families early in the day, and then in the evening we wrap everything up with that nighttime water park adventure, which is going to be really fun. Then on day 8 we travel from Tulum to Bacalar, and then we have another range of activities. So we start off with a conversation on how to enjoy the lagoon while respecting the ecosystem, a great way to get an introduction to the area. And we'll do some swimming. We'll have an intro to what are stromatolites, and maybe a video presentation to end that. The next day, we will do some snorkeling near the stromatolites and get a sample, collect some samples. We'll do a laboratory analysis where we see the samples under the microscope, and then students are probably going to be able to help prepare and analyze the slides. And then we'll kind of have a review of our findings and the kids' experience, which will be really, really interesting, especially for those who are really into science and nature. And then on the next day, we're going to take a boat tour. So we'll be going out on a boat in the laguna, and we'll discuss the lagoon anatomy. We'll look at some more stromatolite formations. We're going to visit the Canal de los Piratas, which is the pirate channel, the pirate canal. And this is where the Mayan defensive booby trap conversation comes in. And maybe if we can manage, I'm going to have a look at these booby traps and all of what they entail. But maybe we can try and play a game where we try to reconstruct or copy them. So then we'll talk about the ancient Mayan mythology of the cenotes, and we'll visit the Mayan ruins in the area. We'll also do a cleanup initiative where everyone takes some time to do a little bit of cleaning up around the lagoon as a thank you and in effort to contribute towards the preservation and the well-being of the waterways. And we'll also paint some environmental awareness signs, asking people not to throw their trash there, things like that. So the kids are contributing to a project that will remain there and hopefully benefit for the long term. And we'll, in addition to visiting the Mayan ruins, we'll also discuss their relationship to water, cenotes, and how that also works with trade. We'll probably visit Fort San Felipe. That's something that's more on the colonial side of things, but it's a fort that's been converted into a museum that has a lot of interesting history to share. And, you know, museums are great for world schooling. You get to learn right there. It's a classroom, a museum classroom. And then on the last day, we'll have breakfast together and the closing circle. So that's, generally speaking, that's what the itinerary looks like. It's quite full. It's going to be really interesting and fun, and it's going to be quite the adventure. So now that I've listed that off, are there any, I'm going to give like kind of a last call for questions here. Any questions about the itinerary, the dates, the numbers, logistics with kids, anything like that? No. Now, I want to just do a quick plug-in about the security issue that's popped up here in Mexico as of yesterday. A lot of people have been messaging me, asking me, what's going on? Are you okay? So basically, the Mexican military took out one of the biggest leaders of the organized crime here in Mexico yesterday morning, and there was a lot of retaliatory demonstrations and damage done to different buildings and cars around the country. I'm in San Miguel. San Miguel is super safe. We have amplified levels of security right now throughout the city. We did see some businesses shutter yesterday for the day, and they have mostly reopened already. So we're expecting this to de-escalate fairly quickly. It was really retaliatory occurrences around the country by members who were under this leader of organized crime here in Mexico, in response to his death at the hands of the Mexican government. Some people think that this was necessary in order to create a safer Mexico. Some people, there are plenty of opinions. No matter the opinion at the moment, what we are seeing is in particular places, travel is not advised, and that is going to be a temporary advisory. So my expectation is that by December, things are going to be very, very different. Even by next week, things are going to be quite calmer. There's not a lot of fear here in San Miguel about the situation. They are not recommending people to fly into Cancun and Quintana Roo right now, along with Jalisco, which is where it all started and which is where those members and that particular leader lived and operated from. So that's why it all kind of blew up over there. Not literally blew up. There were no bombings, but there were fires and blockades and things like this. So I feel the need to address that here on this call and not pretend like it's not happening, as I'm sure it's on everybody's mind, whether you're here on the call right now or you're going to be watching this later. I'm sure you're going to have some questions. We also had about 10 times the amount of people sign up for this call. And, you know, we're seeing just a fraction of them here. And I think that we have to be very mindful of the hyper sensationalist propaganda that gets spread around the world, and people who are misinformed, sharing things on social media that are not quite true. Mexico is not a war zone. There's not a war happening here right now. There is a retaliatory push from the members of the organized crime group. I think it's Nueva Generación Jalisco something. So these guys are just retaliating to the taking out of their criminal leader, and it should be very temporary. Okay, so travel advisories are a no-go right now. they say don't travel to specific airports right now, don't go in and out of them. I am in alignment with that. I agree with that. However, by the time December comes around, and even probably by next month or even next week, most of these things will be, generally speaking, way more of a non-issue. So no one asked about that, but I am not one to hide from discomfort. So there you have my share.
Thank you
And
for sharing, Ashley. Thank you for
yeah,
saying that. I mean, I think I saw something really quick on social media and I honestly didn't read into it. So, but I appreciate that because I'm sure people are thinking about it. I used to live in San Diego and I used to go to Tijuana all the time.
mhm,
And I traveled all South America by myself, pre-kids. And
mhm,
it not saying that it was totally safe. I was just careful, but there's so
mhm,
much beauty to see. I went to Colombia, Mexico City, like so many places that everyone
mhm.
was like, don't go there. Right? It's dangerous. I'm like,
Yeah,
I have still to this day, like never seen any of the things that are, I've never participated or been near any of that.
yeah,
And so people used to tell me in San Diego, you can't go to Tijuana. Like you said, it's a war zone. I'm like, obviously not, because I just went there and I went dancing and got tacos, or I just went to the
yeah,
market for lunch and I came home, like obviously,
yeah.
it's not as bad as they think. So thank you for saying something just in case people are worried.
Sure.
But
Yes,
um,
of
it
course.
sounds amazing. The trip sounds amazing. And it
Mhm.
sounds like a really, really cool experience.
Thank you. I'm excited. Thanks for your enthusiasm, Christina. I was talking about it the other day in person to some folks who are at our Worldschool here in San Miguel, and I was like, my eyes lit up, and I wish my voice got louder, and I was like, oh, I'm really excited about this.
That's funny. Yeah, it sounds
So
beautiful.
it is going to be a really, really special experience. So I hope you can make it.
I know. I know.
Vivke, you said you had some questions, and I have a little bit of time still,
Yeah,
about five
actually, just
minutes on
about
this.
the location you have in San Miguel. Like you
Hmm?
said, you don't really offer anything like until later or something. I don't know. I think you said like April, May kind of are blocked out, or you're not offering anything in that location. Is that correct? Or what's the schedule in because I would be really interested in the San Miguel location to come over there and do participate because that sounds really nice to me, and I actually have some work around that area too, so I could combine it and kind of like that's why I was really interested in the San Miguel
So
area.
San Miguel's schedule this year looks like we're running now until April 3rd, and then we do take a break. I will be out of town in April, and May is the hottest month. Every day is over 95 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's really hot, and a lot of our programming is outside. So this year we've just decided to sort of pause in May. We do reopen June 15th for summer camp. I only have about half of the spaces available left for that. It's June 15th to June 11th, sorry, July 11th. And then following that, we're in Oaxaca for a couple of weeks. Then we come back to San Miguel early September through late November. And that program is a really cool one because we are bringing ecology and robotics together for social impact projects here locally. We're going to be creating more food sovereignty in a neighborhood here in San Miguel that will benefit from that, where they don't have a lot of access to food shops the way that we do here more centrally. And we're very excited about that. We're bringing kids with a background in robotics, and also our world schoolers and our ecologically minded teachers, and multiple facilitators with expertise and real life experience in all of those departments together to create a really exceptional 3-month program. It's a 12-week program. And then following that, that ends on November 30th. And then following that, we hop over to Quintana Roo a few days later. So that's what we have
For those
in
3 months, do
December.
you already have also something on the web page? Because I couldn't find anything for those 3 months. I could find the summer
Not
camp and
yet.
stuff.
No.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, no, this is a brand new development. I do already have a family with 4 children who want to book and come. But they booked a call with me to talk to me about it in more detail, and then they made that decision. So I may not get anything put up on the website. I'm running a lot of different
Or
programs.
if you like whatever you send to that other family could send to me as well, but that would be nice because we are kind of mostly interested in this San Miguel location,
Okay.
as I mentioned, because of my work schedule to work. Then I'm like, we have some facilities in Querétaro, so it's really like just around the corner.
Okay.
So that
I
would be
recommend that we get on an individual, a one-on-one
okay.
call to talk about it. That's
Sounds
what I
good.
did with the other
Okay.
family. I talked to them
Mhm.
directly. They had a lot of questions. They felt like it sounded really good, and now they're just sort of, working things out on their end. So
Sounds
that's
good.
what I've been able
Okay.
to offer so far, and I think I'll get stuff written up probably in April, and that'll be in a little bit of time still. But if
Okay.
you're really, really interested and the dates work for you, then let's hop on a one-on-one call and talk more in detail.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, can I answer any more questions? Anything else? Jamie, Emma, we didn't hear from you at all, but maybe you're just totally satisfied with the information. So you don't have to pop on if you don't have any questions. I just want to give it one more call.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I told you I already scheduled a call with you on Friday, so I will end up talking to you one-on-one on Friday.
Great. Looking forward to it, Christina. Thank you,
Cool.
everyone, for coming. I hope you're doing really well, and look out for the follow-up emails that will be in your inbox within the next 24 hours. And take good care. Okay,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Bye.